And I'd like to now bring up another interesting place that you're finding descendants of the Israelites, but may not necessarily be from the 10 tribes, but will also play a role. And it shouldn't be overlooked. It's a very serious scenario. Is in Africa. Africa has perhaps hundreds of millions of people with this identity right now of being from the people of Israel. Does that mean they were from the 10 tribes? Likely not. We were taught by the historians and within our own traditions that when the Romans conquered Judea a few hundred years after that the tribes of Israel went into exile, perhaps millions of Judeans were sold into slavery.
And what if that didn't happen in 70 AD, but happened in the 1100s, and they added 1,000 years and filled in some gaps? And what if they found you here, so-called Negro, and brought a Hebrew interpreter over to communicate with you before your demise? Hawa, we exist. And he's saying Judean, so he's talking Judah. We're going to keep talking Judah because we've been talking you, dog. Because we need to establish this Prester John, this King David. We need to establish all of our tribes, but right now we need to establish who we're talking about with this Yahudah, or Hawaudah. My man Paco, we're going to get some Paco dismount, man. Let's just go.
Into Africa, into Rome, deep into Africa. And if you look now, you're seeing people who are most likely the descendants of those slaves who kept true. I'd like to bring up a few specific examples because they're going to be game changers.
Game changers.
One of them wrote letters to Israel when it became a state. And they said, we're Israelites out in Africa. You know, everyone laughed at them and they said, African Israelites, these people are just trying to jump on the first world country bandwagon. They're living in a third world country. They got nothing. We're coming to Israel. We got innovation, technology. So they're trying to...
Look at his smug. We have everything. You have nothing. You're third world. Look at his smug. You're only third world because someone took your first world away. After you rape, pillage, and plunder a country, it becomes third world, and your country now has innovation. Oh, you want to jump on the bandwagon? Well, the wagon's been rolling. We invented the wagon. Oh, now we'll let you into us. You'll be grafted back into us. You're connected to us. You're going to see how he uses his DNA, does the whole, maternal, gene Cohen thing. And it's like, that's the only way to link themselves is to create some farce science to link themselves to. When you do the recon, you say, are you even really Ashkenazi? You've linked yourself all over the place. Now you're writing yourself into the book.
To get on this train because there's such a thing called the right of return. All descendants of the Jewish people from around the world were able to move to Israel. So they said we are also. And everyone kind of laughed at them, like I said. And a few people took it serious and went out there and started studying them, learned about their culture. And a professor from Duke University went out there and did DNA testing on them. And he showed not only did they share Semitic genes from people who were in Yemen and back to the Middle East, these gentlemen, a large percent of them, have the Y chromosome to be Kohanim, to be priests.
Oh, chromosome.
Now, if anyone who doesn't know, a priest is a specific family clan of the nation of Israel who come from Aaron, the brother of Moses, who was the first priest. And anyone descended from Aaron has the status title priest. And we found that these men in this village in South Africa called Lemba, L-E-M-B-A, carry this genetic marker to let us know that they share the same as from the Sephardic and the Ashkenaz and the population of the people in Israel today. They share the same exact DNA marker.
You see how they tie themselves in, so now we have the same DNA marker with this chromosome thing. Look at his face. First world. Now you say, did you see any correlation or resemblance between these Lemba people? Oh, now it's just, we had a different area than you, so we look a little different. But trust me, We're linked in through our chromosomes. Do you believe there's science? Do you believe this schmuck? Let's go.
It's mind-blowing. So everyone kind of got humbled a little bit, who laughed at them and said, now what? Now what do we do about this? This could have tremendous implications.
Tremendous.
Another area in Africa you have something big happening is in Nigeria. You have the Igbo people, or Igbo, pronounced either way. There's 40 million of them. Also Christians, like I spoke about before, how that could happen to the children of Israel very easily.
Yeah, convert or die, convert or die, convert or die, convert or die. Now some are Christians. Now, when we talk Negro land, when we talk West Africa, are we saying that these people were taken from there and brought here? Or that these Ame'ricans were found here and brought there? Is that why they've been fighting and scrapping ever since they got there with the other tribes?
But also a lot of them are now coming out and converting back or adopting the rules of the Torah without all the paganism that they've been practicing for hundreds of years. There's been books written about it from scholars in Nigeria, from scholars from the Jewish people. And where it gets interesting is, in America, there was a slave trade. And a lot of the slaves, a very high percentage of them, came from Western Nigerian ports.
Watch out for the hijack. So he's going to give you some truth, and they always put it with a lot of bullshit. Because when they reverse it, then that's when the spell is broken. And you have to reverse it. So they give you some drop. Yes, you see where it's going. You see how they're tying to tell you that it's okay, you're an Israelite, and so are we. We're connected through this chromosome, and he found you over there so that you don't have land rights here, so that you don't ask for your gold back while we trod down your land. Yep, you're from over there. They found you in ports. Oh, we're going to get the drop.
And in America today, you see a very large movement of African Americans who say that they're the real chosen people, that they're the children of Israel, they're the Judeans.
Kendrick Lamar told you that.
You know, so what are they just trying to create an identity for themselves because they were slaves, or is there really something here? And the answer is, most likely there is something there. And most likely, maybe that they were the original Israelites, and maybe that the Jewish people today who are white, Caucasian people came in a little bit later on. And the answer is, most likely there is something there. And most likely, maybe that they were the original Israelites, and maybe that...
Kendrick Lamar just told you that. You found him here. The copper color race is found here, brought a Hebrew interpreter, took the line. We fought in Peru, we fought in Mexico. We fought all throughout the Americas. We were taken captive. We were prisoners of war. We weren't homeborn slaves. We weren't brought over here doing a bunch of slave work on a bunch of plantations just for the hell of it. Nah, that's why the wars kept continuing. That's why all the indigenous wars continue, because we did not roll over and let you take our land like you want to write in your his story.
Maybe that they were the original Israelites, and maybe that the Jewish people today who are white, Caucasian people came in a little bit later on. We know that some of the greatest sages of the transmission of the Torah were converts from Rome.
Somebody just dropped some shit.
You have a man named Onkelos who wrote a commentary on the Torah, unprecedented, that we still learn today. He was a convert. Some of the largest pillars on the transmission today were Roman converts. So here we are, we're Caucasian Jewish people. And now you have people in Africa saying that they're the real people of Israel. It can't be ruled out at all.
It can't be ruled out. Oh, okay. So that's their side way of telling you that you're tribal, and here's your... They think they're doing the Creator a service. Much love to Nehemiah. Much love to J. Stu, I think. He's the one that hit me with this, man. You know, we had a little thread, man. So love to all the family, man. Love to all the tribe. Man, go check out Hiram's last drop. All his drops, man, just a beautiful flow. Paco, man, getting to the root. AD keeps it dropping, man. Just nothing but recon, research, man. Go subscribe to all that, man. And you know what I'm saying? Isaac, man, dropping it, man. And get that Biggie. He just dropped the whole Biggie Life After Death joint, man. You got the link below. Click on it, man. Keep surfing the wave and join. But yo, man. Speaking of Biggie, speaking of Negros, copper colored races found here. Maybe it's not so crazy, Drop.
It's likely there is something there. And most likely, maybe that they were the original Israelites. And
maybe they were the original. Okay, so let's take that right quick, man. Love to everyone that's dropping the drop. I love you for real, for real. Again, this is what's happening before your eyes. So, you know, that you're supporting this family and this tribe that is going to keep regrouping. This is not going to stop. This is not just a one-time journey or one-time thing. We started it rallying around J. Stu and the whole tribe and the whole crew. You know what I'm saying? As that manifested, the Most High gave us an opportunity to, you know, work together. You know what I mean? To have these wonderful, you know, group of family running point out there, running point, putting it all on the line for everybody. Running point. They were out there, man, while everyone else, you know what I'm saying, was wrapping up their situations. This family gave it all up. And what came out of this family doing, what came out of J. Stu, what came out of Camille and Mario and Shalise, what came out of V. Perkins getting out there. Wow, I mean, we had a rendezvous point to even come out there and start to explore this U-Dog and find the perfect 10 acres of land for us to build on our own mountain. Now it's harvest season. Now, you know what I'm saying? It's every day we grow closer to the beginning. And this is not just, oh, go get lost. Peace. It's just, yo, you got somewhere to build. You got something to start. You go out there, you start working on things like building a fire. You come back, you know, whenever you got to come back and just choose up whenever you want to, man. This is not just some frantic, chaotic situation. So, you know, we are building a situation of order, a situation that we can build a flow, build a community, build these things as long as it takes, as long as we moving our feet, as long as Hawa exists. So this is the beginning, man. So to have the 1800 that came out of here, that's the thing I love about it, is transparency. So everything we do is 100% clear. With every dollar, with every dime, again, we raised the $20,000 between phone calls. We made phone calls and got that. Love to the tribe, phone calls, got that. So this is just another outreach for you to be a part of. And if you want to, you know what I'm saying, go deeper and, you know, help like, you know, land development type of things and things that we're going to need on a bigger scale, bigger picture. You got something major you want to drop, don't want to go through GoFundMe, you can hit us up. We have an account set up, you know what I'm saying, that you can go right into, man, and drop right into our, you know, LLC business account, you know what I mean, just for us to handle those type of transactions, all right? So we love you. Hit us up for more information on that. Choose up at 432thedrop.com, music at 432thedrop.com. All that gets you linked in on how you can help more. And those that are already just dropping a drop, again, 1,800 went right to the family every dime. Now we got another 1,000 on top of that. So, you know, we keep it clear so you see what you see and how much has already been, you know, put into the family's hands. So, you know, you take that 1,800 that's going into the family, you know, helping out with tent, whatever they needed, you know what I'm saying? Whatever they needed. And now we got another 1,000 to hand to the family, to the tribe that, you know, regroups and rendezvous first, man. So that's already there. Here's $1,000. Get set up. And that's from you, Drop Nation. And that was our vision. We say 10,000, but this is going to keep building, keep going. We're going to get more land. You know what I'm saying? The tribe is going to build, going to maintain. And this is a way to support. And again, you can support directly or anonymously, or, you know what I'm saying, drop, you know, whatever figures you want right into our account as well. So we can set you up with a wire situation for that. And, you know, we'll keep making it available and transparent, but this is just the beginning of it. And I appreciate y'all for dropping that drop. Yolanda Watts, Demetrius, Mock, love to you, bro. You know, dropped a wonderful joint, man. He said, bro, man, you've been laying down that fire. I'm born and raised in Eastern North Carolina. We own family land. Back in 1869, the land that we used to live on was taken by the federal government in 1940. It made a Marine base. The place is called Cherry Point, aka Havelock, North Carolina. We still have a gravestone on that base as well. Of course, this area is set along the Nuis River. Water People's Right. All the kids that I went to school with, we were somehow related to each other. Wow. This area of Havelock is east of and outside of what is called New Bern, North Carolina. In this area, we had New Sioux, Coree, Tuscarora, and Cherokee people. They claim these people died off during the war. Aha, we're still here, but reclassified, the so-called Negro. Green, Hickman, Taylor are all surnames from my family. If you have time, read up on the Tuscarora Wars here in New Bern, Craven County area. Let's dig on that. As you know, they burned the courthouse down here as well during the Civil War. They landed right here in a place called Slocum Creek, which is on the base. A lot of tributaries on my neck of the woods. Keep doing this work. It is greatly appreciated. Love to you. That drop was greatly appreciated, Demetrius Mott. Thank you for the drop. Marquise Bell, Wilma Bates. My sister said, if we were just a little younger, we would go with, we would join you. What is it? My sister, it is for you. You know what I'm saying? You know, we're all existing together. And, you know, this land, every land that we build on from this point on is for you. And, you know, it will be accessible to you, my sister. So I love you. May the Most High continue to order your steps. So wow. Love to you, sister. Love to Jonathan Johnson. Thanks for all you do. Stay true, and we will continue to support you. Love to John, V. Brown, Penelope Campbell. Keep on surfing. Hamilton family, it's happening. Paco, Hawa. Love to you. And the rest of the tribe. We're going to get some drop from Paco, man. We right on time. So you got the link, you know, click on it. I love y'all. Sincerely, y'all can always access it right off the YouTube channel right here. You know, and this is what we do it for. So we always take a moment to make sure that we are, you know, all clear, man. You click this link right here, support Drop Nation. That takes you to that link. This is our PayPal link. Anything you want to drop, you know, directly on the drop. You know, the framework. Love to you for that. You can always drop your drop right there, right off of the tube. And love to everyone for dropping this drop. It's so great to have this $1,000 that we got just to hand to the family right now as we get our Exodus on, get our harvest on, man. Yo. All right. Let me go to, wait. I'm going to tie some things together, man. We're going to tie some things together. Yeah, wow. Let's take a breath, man. We're going fast. Wow. Wow. Hey, wow. Feeling good. You know, when you got so much you're trying to get to, that's a good thing. When you got so much, you know what I mean, to build with, so many great, you know, Ruakat energies to build with, all family waking up. So that's a day worth surfing. That's a wave worth, you know, belly flopping in at all times, man. If it wasn't for y'all, you know, semi, you know what I mean, validating this, man. I mean, not even semi, but wholeheartedly, you know what I'm saying? But even if it was semi, it would be validation. Any energy you give me is well appreciated. So remember this 1666, one of our family, man, Drop Nation out there is amazing. We have such an incredible stock of researchers that don't want nothing but to drop. Some people just come in, just drop a couple links and PDFs. Got a great link from my sister Raniha. Rania Bay, as well as my sister Cara J. You know, she's been dropping that drop. So, you know, we got some great links coming in. Love to you. Let's get to it. So we're just talking about our indigenous copper color family here. 1828 Webster Dictionary, Ame'rican. And we're just talking about the implications. Now check this, man. Let's get this. And in the late 1640s, both Jews and Protestants were particularly sensitive to these implications. It was a time of theological anguish and millennial expectations. Some Jewish calculators had appointed 1648 as the Messianic year. These people thought their world was ending. That's why it was such a big change going on in the 1600s and 1700s, and so much of your timeline disappearing and being rewritten, your history. It was prophetic for them to run into these Hebrews over here and get this new life, this new checkpoint. 1648 was their Messianic year, and since that proved to be the year in which the protracted horrors of the 30-Year War came to an end, and in which a second civil war broke out in England. Now, you don't think that got nothing to do with you? The Picts? The Israelites? The Russes and Rosses? You don't think this got nothing to do with you? The Jacobite uprising? Culminating in the execution of Charles I, many Protestants, especially in England, where the fifth monarchy sect was at its height, were convinced that they had indeed entered apocalyptic times in the 1600s. You're in 2017, right? Now they're in another What they realized was, oh shit, it wasn't the end of the world when we found these people. It was really the beginning of their judgment. I mean, my people, you've been judged. That was your judgment. All that massacre. And what they're going to realize, and what you're going to realize is, you know, in your reality, you never died. In your reality, there wasn't one death. But since you chose their illusion, then you lived through that massacre. And when you get to your reality, you're like, whoa. So our energy is always continued. It's never, you can't destroy us. When you get back in your right framework, you're going to realize they can't destroy me. So no one was ever destroyed, or your energy doesn't die. There was no death for you. But you were judged in accordance with the reality you chose. That was promised by these other angels and the celestial entities. That reality, that grid slaughtered you. Now you're breaking through it again. Let go. He had appointed 1648 as the Messianic year, and since that proved to be the year in which the protracted horrors of the 30-Year Wars came to an end and the Second Civil War broke out in England, 1648, culminating in the execution of Charles I, many Protestants, especially in England, where the fifth monarchy sect was at its height, were convinced that they had indeed entered apocalyptic times. Now follow me. Something like apocalypse certainly struck for Jews that year when the Hetman Bogdan Chmelnytsky led his Cossack followers in a revolt against Polish overlordship. So we got to research this Hetman. That turned into its severest attacks upon the Jews of Eastern Europe, bringing rape, injury, and violent death to the tens of thousands, all but extinguishing the hitherto brilliant light of Polish Jewry. All but extinguishing the Polish Jewry. Now, which are they talking about? Those that say they are Jews that are not? Or are they talking about Israel? All in that year, as if in response to this disaster, a young Jew of Smyrna, Izmir, in Turkey, Moses, Turkey, announced to a startling congregation that he was the Messiah. Wait. We're just talking Tower of Babel, man. We're just talking migration, man. We're just talking Hawa and Hawa you die. Love to Paco. We're just talking the Meshi, not Japeth, but Meshi. Meshi, Mosak, Meshe, Messiah. They're hiding a Messiah in Japeth. Possibly the Moshe cultures in South America, now dead Mexica languages, and Peru. Whoa, so you're connecting this Meshe to this Mosak, the foundational legend. Remember, the city was called Mosak. Mosak the founder, Moshi, Mosca, Moscavi, Cappadocia, Moscow. Reflects the old name, possibly migration as far as South America. So how do you go from Moses, Mosak, Moshi, Mozak, Turkey, Moscow, Russia, to South America? Much of northern Russia, Moscow, and the region Muscovy, that's also Moses, Finns, Baltic states, and Hungary mixed. Mexica languages in Peru. So when you this Mosak, it became Khazaria and this Cappadocia. But it started as Mosak, Mexica, and all that is in Turkey. Now we can get to the Byzantine, where we understand they added 1,000 years. So we're just talking Turkey. Mosak announced to a startling congregation that he was the Messiah. And though it was to be some time before many would take Zabbatai, like Sabbath, Shabbatai, Zevi's claim serious, he was eventually to be the leader. So eventually they did take him serious. So we're going to have to dig more, I'm going to pull up a couple links and I'll let you dig on it, man. Let me know what you find. Because I'm going to try to go, I got to get some more. But this guy, said he was the Meshi in Turkey. Now, we're talking 1666. Now, was he some hijack saying he's the Messiah? I don't know. But we got to dig on this Shabtai. So it says it was some time before they would take Shabtai Tsevi's claim seriously. So eventually they did. He was eventually to be the leader of a movement that would send shock waves through all the world of Jewry or Israel. In the years Shabbatai's followers chose for his messiahship was 1666. So was he some hijack, claiming this is a weird net, 666? I don't know. Was this some super hijack, situation? Or was this some timeline situation that's linking up with a Messiah, who they're calling Shabtai Levi in 1666? Let's keep going. Come on. All right, so I'm going to give you this link so you can dig on. And the spirit of Shabtai Tsevi moved upon the waters. Modes of authority and development of the dopest by Paul Benjamin. All right. Now he's going to start off right off the bat with something very interesting. That might connect to more of a hijack scenario in this 666. The conversion of the purported Jewish Messiah, Shabtai Tsevi, to Islam. Now, I don't want to just take his word for it, but this is how he's coming out the gate. He just started. This is just the abstract. 67 pages in this doc. The conversion of the purported Jewish Messiah Shabtai Tsevi to Islam in 1666 created a crisis among his followers. Many returned to mainstream Judaism or their law. Others remained secret Sabbatians. However, a small group of Salonika followed their master into apostasy, converting to Islam in imitation of Shabtai Tsevi. This group, known as Don May, was very homogeneous at the beginning. Its members were very few in number, knew each other well, and tended to relate to each other. However, shortly after the death of Shabtai Tsevi, they split into three factions. A fourth, the Frankists, arose later in Europe. So these Franks are coming out of this situation, or Frankists, who differ greatly from each other in organized ritual and theology. So they had this whole breakdown. So I'll leave this abstract. We're going to keep it going. Man, they snapped me again. Come on, man. Come on, man. All right, y'all. This is a big document. Again, this is love to, this is love to my sister, Miss D in the Copper Color Awakening, man, for dropping this, man. So my sisters, man, as you hear, are researching and just dropping pertinent drop. Get on that Miss D in the Copper Color. You know what I mean? As you see, this is a long document. See how long it takes to load. I mean, I got a slow net. But as it's load, let's just, go over a couple things now. We're going to get in this document like we got last time. We're going to dig on the chronology. And it's going to break down this year 1, according to this, Russian chronographer for the Manko. It's breaking down at its equivalent astronomically with the year 1054. And we've got from different substantiating sources that they added 1,000 years and they did these shifts. So if they shift 333 years and 1,053 years and over 1,800 years, but they were all the same story, they just divided it, put it under different names and titles and places. How do you put Humpty Dumpty back together again once you had a great fall? Well, let's start digging on this chronology, this medieval empire of the Israelites. Get that last drop. I just want to get a piece of what we got in chapter 3, page 53. Let's just jump right in. Belly flop. Enough to Miss D for pulling our coat. We got you, sister. We got you. Now. All right. Where I want to get. Man, we got this Josephus, man. That was very interesting. Yeah, we're dealing with this 1054 situation. I'll just get it from here. Almagest. All right. All right, biblical knowledge of the 18th to 19th centuries did not reveal naturally the gospel. Solar eclipse in the Palestine of the start of our era. Then the solar eclipse was recast into a lunar. All the same true, it did not help because they also didn't find a lunar eclipse which approached it precisely. Therefore, they simply ceased talking about the problem. And they're talking about the problem of this so-called Christ birth and, the astronomical events that are supposed to be happening around it. And they're saying they didn't happen then. They happened, in this region in Palestine in 1054. Now, if we factor in that it's over here, then when did this eclipse and this line up over here? Would maybe bring us even more accurate, precise drop. Now, what then was discovered, it turns out such a pair of the rarest astronomical events, the flare-up of a new star, and 31 years later, a full solar eclipse. So that's what Fodemanko and his team was looking for. They're adding it up with astronomical events. Remember, you've been given the stars as a sign. Can you use these signs to tell what's the duplicates in history and what's the original? if that's what's being written about, if it's written that there's a flare-up of a new star over this birth, and 31 years later is a full solar eclipse in the Mediterranean, and you line that up, what do you get? But only in the 11th century AD does that happen. And now we have the rump. Now we have the rump. Now we can say, is that where this 1,000 years has been added from the 1st to 11th century? Which is why Fernando said that after the 900s is when they, start to see less duplicates, and really after the 1600s, 1700s. And this is well-known flare-up. This is the well-known flare-up of the new star in 1054 and the full solar eclipse in 16th of February 1086. The shadow of the solar eclipse passed through Italy and the Byzantine. Well, now we're starting to connect this back to Turkey. And even if we're not talking the, 1666, they're in, birth of their Messianic situation, what they say. Shabtai's follower chose for his Messianicship 1666. So that's when, whatever they're calling this coming, or the Christian calculators chose the same date for their coming. It's 1666. That's their end of shit. That's their end of shit. Now you got their year one really popping off here. So according to them, really, they only had 5 years of existence, 500 years of existence. They're popping off year one here. Now let's keep reading. Now you got the Byzantine. Now Anatoly Fomenko also showed that in many chronicles, the year 1054 AD, the so-called fundamental shift of 1053 years in the chronology is implied as year one, in accordance with their Christ birth. So if it actually went down in 1054 according to the astronomical signs, then what happened in year one? And how many times did they change your dates and laws? Remember, they took down the Byzantine in 1453. What happened a year before? The Papal Bull Diversas 1452, saying to subjugate the Saracens and pagans. Oh, we're going to get that Paco dismount.
Rob builds a community.
We're going to get that Paco dismount. My bro. I can't wait. What happened in 1452? Right quick, right fast. We're going to take our time, though. Pope Nicholas V issued the Papal Bull Diversas 18 June 1452. What did it say? We weighing all in singular the premises with due meditation. Listen up, people. This is the document that enslaves you today, which makes you a prisoner of war today, because this is the document declaring war on you. 40 years later, it's 1492. Columbus sails the ocean blue. What did he use? What authority? We weighing all in singular the premises with due meditation, and nothing that since we had formerly by other letters of ours granted among other things free and ample faculty to the aforesaid King Alfonso. So he's getting permission, this King Alfonso, to do what? To invade, to search out, to capture, to vanquish, and subdue all Saracens. All these Saracens are who they're calling these dark melanated people. These Moors, but there were different Moors and different tribes of Moor. Moor means great. And pagans. They call pagans anyone who wasn't down with their hijack over there. So when they found you over here, they said, oh, you must be against our Christ whatsoever, and other enemies of Christ. So when they invented this in their councils, they said, if you're against it, we're taking you down with due meditation. We're going to meditate on your fall. Don't look around. Look how good this thing has been for them. Don't you think they had due meditation to take your land? your gold, your titles. Enemies of Christ. How are you an enemy of Christ? Why? Because they found you here, rocking directly with the Creator, wheresoever placed. And the kingdoms. Oh, you don't think you had a kingdom here? They're writing that they're taking down your kingdom. Columbus said, I'm taking down the holy city, Mount Zion, the kingdom of Israel. Yashua, Yahuda, Hawauda, Hawa. Dukedoms, principalities, dominions, possessions. Dominions is all your land. Possessions is everything. All movable and immovable goods they have permission to take from you, so-called Negro. What, you don't know what a Saracen is? Get my other one. Hold up. Yeah. We're gonna get back to the pics, man. You don't know what a Saracen is. I mean, you have to see when they put these names and these titles that they say are theirs, but they're not, and you see on there, on these crests, your face, a regular curly nappy head nigga. A regular copper color race, right? Ain't he red? Ain't he ruddy? The word Saracen was used in the early centuries of the Roman Empire describing Arab tribe. A Saracen's head? Do you really think they're just talking about the dark Arabs? Or are they saying right here, lost tribes of Israel identity? So they want to keep hiding it under some Islam situation. Nah, Saracen has your face on it. Regardless of what you think, you see your face on it. We weighing all in singular premises with due meditation to invade, search out, capture, vanquish, and subdue all Saracens. And what they're calling pagans, you call them heathen. They call you what, pagans? You call them heathen, but they're bringing in their pagan worship. They're worshiping the celestial. And do what? Take all the dominions, possessions, movable, immovable goods whatsoever held and possessed by them and reduce their persons to perpetual slavery. Forever, these Saracens, and to apply and appropriate to himself and to his successors, his descendants, the invaders' descendants. Remember, the 1828 Webster Dictionary says that the definition of American is the copper color race found here, the Aboriginal, original, autochthon, original people, copper color race found here, but now applied to the descendants of the European, the successors, appropriate to himself and his successors, the kingdoms, dukedoms, counties, principalities, dominions, possessions, and goods, and to convert them to his or their use and profit. Take everything. Forever, perpetual slavery. Negro. By having secured the said faculty, the said King Alfonso, or by his authority, the Alfred Infante justly and lawfully has acquired and possessed, and doth possesses these islands, lands, harbors, and seas, and they do of right belong or pertain to the said King Alfonso and his successor. So what is year one? And in 1453, after that 1452, They take down the Byzantine that next year. The Byzantine world era was gradually replaced in the Orthodox Church by the Christian era, which was utilized initially by Patriarch Theophanes Carix in 1597, afterwards by Patriarch Silvulus in 1626, and then formally established by the Church in 1728. Meanwhile, as Russia received Orthodox Christianity from the Byzantine, Rus, she inherited the Orthodox calendar based on the Byzantine era. So there's a different calendar translated into Slavonic after the collapse of the Byzantine Empire in 1453. 1 year after the Papal bulls telling you to put you in, that was their document to enslave Israelites everywhere and Hebrews everywhere, melanated. And your melanated brothers were doing treaties in support of it. More and more. 1453. How you think it's a coincidence that this empire gets taken down 1 year later and then transferred to this Vatican Holy Roman thing? Before that, it had a different Romani attached to it. Let's keep going. Let's check it. The era continued to be used by Russia, which witnessed millennialists. These are the people that thought the world was ending in 1666. They're called millennialist movements in Moscow, 1492. So they thought the world was ending. They're millennialists. And now 1492, Columbus says the ocean blue, which means that Columbus was a millennialist and he thought the world was ending and thought he was fulfilling prophecy by breaking this partition. Due to the end of the church calendar, it was only in AD 1700 that the Byzantine world era in Russia was changed to the Julian calendar by Peter the Great. So that calendar, those times just got changed in the 1700s in Russia. Oh man, let's keep going. I'll leave this link for y'all, man. It got to do with the Maccabees chronology. And I actually want to go through it another time, but I'll leave the link so you can get ahead of me. Biblical chronology of the Maccabees. Whoa. Stumbled on this one. But check the links below. You got the drop. Alright. Now, this 1054, right? So we got the 1053. 1053 is implied as year 1 in accordance with Christ's birth, Christus. This means that the medieval chroniclers often dated the birth of Christ precisely the 1054. All right, take that over here. We're just talking about the Sabbath in the Great Schism of AD 1054. All right. Early in the Christian era, there developed a cleavage between the church leaders in Rome and those in Constantinople. We're talking Mazaka, we're talking Turkey. They had a breach, which led to this papal bull and the enslavement and the massacre of Hebrews, a breach which widened with the passing of the centuries into the last tie that bound them together in Christian fellowship snapped in the summer 1054. So something happened in 1054. Something snapped with Mazaka, with Turkey, with the Byzantine, which led to the Byzantine fall 1 year after the papal bull. One of the main issues involved in the controversy was the matter of fasting on the Sabbath, the seventh day of the week. In 1053, the disagreement on this topic became verbally violent. In that year, Metropolitan Archbishop Leo Okrida, then the capital of Bulgaria, but now a city belonging to Albania, and Patriarch Michael Celerarius of Constantinople wrote an open letter to Bishop John of the Church of Trani in Ambulia, southern Italy. The church was on the side of the Greeks in the controversy. the side of the Greeks in the controversy. So I'm going to leave this link. We're just talking 1054. I mean, why? You know what I'm saying? Is this a coincidence? When we talk about the 1666 and this conversion of Islam of Shabtai Tsevi, this 1666 Messiah in Turkey, when we talk the Maccabees chronology and this schism of 1054, and the 1054 date of their Messianic, all right, precisely the 1054, this fundamental shift and the multitude of shifts that happen, and that it is particularly all the story in which attributes to dates earlier than 900 AD consist of duplicates before 900 AD, the originals of which are found in the time frame 900 to 1600 AD, the originals. So all this just happened. Your takedown was recent. And this is the doc that we're going to leave right here. I'm going to get some drop. Go to this video, man, get some drop out of it right quick. But I wanted to at least let you, start to dig on this here, man. Let's see if we can get a page or two. Get my akala. Love to y'all. Hope you flowing, vibrating. As we put these things together, it's getting easier and easier to see. Let's pick it up from here. Jews in the America by Thorogood. Dig on it, click the link below, get all the drop. Oh man, they're gonna stab me. Not cool, man. Not cool, man. Y'all see what I gotta go through? I know they do this to these links on purpose, man, just to, take a couple minutes out. It's alright, man. Wow, I got that perfect timing. Wow, I got that perfect timing. All the time, man. Let's take our time with this. It's one of those, slow rollers, but it's the only one. It's the only one I can find, man. I look everywhere. So love to my sister again, Rania Babe. She said, man, you need this link? I said, yeah. Yes, I do. And man, did she drop it on us. All right, here we go. Come on, baby. Let's get a little bigger. You gotta be gentle with these babies, man. So the rites, fashion, ceremonies, and opinions of the Americans are in many things agreeable to the customs of the Jews, not only profane in common usages, but such as to be called solemn and sacred. The Indians wear garments fashioned as the Jews or Israelites, a single coat, a square little cloak. They go barefoot. If you should ask a man of Brazil what vestment would please him best, he would answer presently a long cloak, the habit of the Jews. And this may seem no light consideration to such as mind Seneca's confidence that the Spaniards planted themselves in Italy, but they have the same kind of covering on their heads and shoes for their feet. They constantly anoint their heads, as did the Jews also. They do not only pride themselves with earrings, but their noses are bored. I don't know what that says. Also, like pierced, I guess, and they have jewels hanging on them, which they call kori, like that is red. Alright, so I'm going to a script here. I don't know if that's Esdras. Alright, so number 4 says, in all India they wash themselves often, twice or thrice a day, and the women in Brazil 10 times, saith Larimi. It's very small. And the Jews were frequent in this. So look, yeah, man, they just said India. They're not talking India like you think India. They're talking the Indias. So you see why this stuff is so hard to find. Because first it's saying that, you know, how you dressing. And then it says, yeah, man, in all India. They're talking America. But then they say all India. Same thing. They wash themselves often, twice or thrice a day. Now, you know, no offense, but, you know, if you're talking about the so-called India of today, that's one of their knocks. Sometimes, you know what I'm saying, when you're dealing with, you know, look, trust me, man, I got a couple of so-called Indian homies, and they joke all the time, like, yeah, man, the whole, you know, not wearing deodorant thing, all right? So, you know what I'm talking about. They don't be wearing deodorant all the time, man. But deodorant was found here. These Europeans found this soap, deodorants, and all this stuff here in this India, where they washed twice and thrice a day. Cleanliness was number 1. They delight exceedingly in dancing. Women apart by themselves. So the sisters like to get together and dance the same way they do now. And so they did in all Israel. And thus, especially after victories, overthrows of enemies, which is found also. So you know they're talking about Jew, not the so-called Jew today. And the Jews were wont to call them fathers and mothers, and they were not their natural parents. So the Indians give the same appellation to uncle and aunts, the same respect. Honor your father and mother, all right? Or the father and mother above. All right, Los Lunas, New Mexico. And in America, they ate no swine flesh. In America, they ate no swine's flesh. In America, they ate no swine's flesh. 'Tis hateful to them, as it was among the Jews. They wash strangers' feet. Man, they don't eat swine. They didn't eat swine. Not these tribes they're finding here. They wash strangers' feet. All right, man, so getting all these correlations. So, you know, yeah, I'm just, you know, leading you to some of this water here that's connecting. And this is something that we're going to really, really, really dig on, man. We're going to really, really, really dig on, man. Now I want to kind of get a little piece here. I wanted to get right quick before I do this dismount on y'all. And I believe it's the preface. Oh, they'll snap me again. But I'm going to leave the link, man, because I want to get to this. You know, he talks about either the Jews, so-called Jews,
The migrate
were Indianized, meaning that they got their customs from these so-called Indians, Papuva, Coxiquel, or that these Indians were somehow converted. You know what I'm saying? All this stuff, but, you know, you see which way they're going now. Here's some more drop, man. Love to Cara J, my sister Cara J. We're gonna get as much of this as possible. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna leave this link for you as well. This one is called Lost, what's that? Lost Israel in the Anglo-Saxon. Because he's about to, you know, make some, which one did we look at? He's about to make some interesting statements here. I pulled one of these up for you. You got Simeon and Dan popping up. You know, this is just connecting some of the Anglo-isms, some of these Anglos. It's Anglo-Saxon, because, you know, they're going to connect themselves to these Anglo-Saxons quite a bit. And Anglo is angel. So who are these angelic people? What's really the drop of these Anglos? Got this Syrian captivity. Yeah, man, I'm just doing a quick little, you know, look through it, man. Got the Babylonian drop, some Nebuchadnezzar drop. A little bit about the ark. You know, I'm just going fast so you know what's in here. So you know what you want to look for. You got the contents. Here's the preface. I was trying to find a definition. They did a quick definition on a couple things. Oh, here we go. Might be this one. Yeah, who are they? They get into this 1066 date. William the Conqueror. Now, this is the whole, you know, Braveheart scenario, right? Found to be the leader of Benjamin. All right. I mean, when you start connecting yourself into, again, these picks, you know what I mean, what they're calling these painted warriors, then comes the drop. Oh man, we got so much drop I wanted to drop. Yeah, we gotta take our time to get through some of this, man. Especially with the Dan migration and the Danans. You know, don't mind me. Hey, we got some Solomon drop in here. Wow. Alright. Alright, we're just talking Anglo. We're talking these captivities, man. And again, Josephus keeps popping up. Just let me know what you see. Something pops out. I know I'm doing it real quick breeze for you, but this is that interesting. When you connect yourself to it, they're not talking about themselves. They're just acting like they're talking about themselves. You know what I'm saying? All right. I'm out. And this drop right here as well, I'll leave for y'all, man. Old World Roots of the Cherokee, Donald Yates. Alright, so library's up. I'm still building a new site, so I'm not able to do the updates in the library, but I can at least pull up the links and drop it for you until we rebuild our library. But we get back into the James Adair, Lost Tribes. Oh man, America's Middle Ages, which is a very, very interesting drop. We'll see how we do, man. Let's get to this migration to Judah. And just remember they're talking about you. And, listen up.
Patterns, and thus identifying the regal merchant class of the house of Judah, as opposed to who we've already identified, the poor migrant working class, which were the Fehalim, today's Palestinians. I can't stand it when the globalists, the society that tries to enslave us, names us. I'm not a Caucasian, okay? Because a Caucasian is an Asian from the Caucasus Mountain region. The Russian steppes, Caucasian. I'm an Anglo-Saxon.
Stop. Remember the DNA thing. Remember what the other cat did with the DNA. And look, we're all the same mitochondrial DNA. It's the same thing they're doing with the Anglo-Saxons. They say, oh, these are the lost tribes. So they're connecting it to these lost tribes that are connected to you. All right. But yeah, it's all the same. And we're all from this and we're all from that. We're all just migrated. We're not Caucasian, we're Anglo-Saxons because now we're connected to these tribes of Israel. The Anglo-Saxon race, and angle is angles, and angles is angels. And the angels of the barrier moving angles. Is he an angel or is it another hijack? But let's see what he has to say.
Which means a son of Isaac.
So being an Anglo-Saxon means a son of Isaac? And that's him? Come on, man. That's a good one.
When they start to name you and you have to fill out these little boxes and the government hands you out these little and check what race you are, they're the ones telling you who you are. Don't stand it.
Don't blame us. I know a lot of, folks done checked off some boxes. And it's absolutely correct what you're about to hear.
When the globalists, the society that tries to enslave us, names us. I'm not a Caucasian, okay? Because a Caucasian is an Asian from the Caucasus Mountain region. The Russian steppes, Caucasian. I'm an Anglo-Saxon, which means a son of Isaac. So when they start to name you and you have to fill out these little boxes and the government hands you out these little and check what race you are, they're the ones telling you who you are. Don't buy it, because I'm not Caucasian. Who's Caucasian? The Ashkenazi Khazars, the Turkic Mongols from the Russian steppes, the Caucasus Mountains. They are Caucasians.
Now they're identifying themselves. They're the other white. I'm a different one. I'm the one that's Isaac's son. But he just said, don't buy it. Because when they're naming you, you're checking off stuff that is theirs, that they own.
Isaac. So when they start to name you and you have to fill out these little boxes and the government hands you out these little and check what race you are, they're the ones telling you who you are. Don't buy it, because I'm not Caucasian. Who's Caucasian? The Ashkenazi Khazars, the Turkic Mongols from the Russian steppes, the Caucasus Mountains. They are Caucasians. We've already explained that. But I'm an Anglo-Saxon. I grew up in England. I'm a son of Isaac. That's what it means. You see, so I'm not going to check those boxes because the New World Order, the globalists, trying to enslave us. But we...
Don't check them boxes because the globalists are trying to enslave us with their titles?
I'm an Anglo-Saxon. I grew up in England. I'm a son of Isaac. That's what it means. You see, so I'm not going to check those boxes because the New World Order, the globalists, trying to enslave us.
Bang.
But we serve an Elohim, and the first commandment is, I am Yahweh your Elohim, who delivered you from slavery. That's the key. This whole political system right now is all about slavery. The globalists are slavers. And we, as Israel, have got to understand who our Elohim is. He is the one who delivers his people from slavery.
You see, they're giving you pure truth, and then they give you, but it's our tribe too. Look, it's all good to get in order and get in line, but to say you're the same tribe as these people and have gone through the same curses, Deuteronomy 28 as these people, the same judgment as these people, and now you're this and you're. So they say, hey, look, wake up. Hey guys, listen, you're Israelites. Yeah, Kendrick Lamar, yeah, but so are we. Half truths. So we dodged the hijack. You hear what he's saying, now listen up.
And today you are seeing more slavery by the politicians in this land, and it is truly, truly troubling. And I need to speak out on it because Yahweh is calling Israel back. He is calling his people back. But you've got to understand that slavery is what keeps you in Egypt. But when you can expose that, you can finally be set free and serve Yahweh, the Elohim of Israel.
Wow.
So we're going to look and track now the migration patterns of the regal merchant class of the house of Judah. Because now we can see that the Caucasians are not pure white races, but a mixture of Asians that lived on the Russian steppes. Asians in the Caucasus Mountains, right? Caucasians. Ashkenazi Khazars. The Ashkenazi, they who say they are Jews and are not, are Caucasians. Khazarian Mongols. That's the truth. And you can check that box. They who say they are Jews and are not. But we're going to look into history. Even when you look at, say, a country like Ethiopia in Africa, and you dig into the history of Menelik I and Menelik II, you'll understand that they were descendants of King Solomon. Menelik meaning from the Melech, from Melech, from the king, from the king. But what about Egypt? What about Mitzrayim, Egypt? What about Egypt? The pharaohs were black. They weren't white. They were black. Egypt is Mitzrayim, and it means burnt face or black. The ancients referred to their country as Kemet, which has been written in a variety of ways. Kemet, Kemit, Kem, Al-Kem, and it literally means the black land, or the land of the blacks, Mitzrayim. How did Moshe Rabbeinu go undetected for 40 years if he was a Caucasian in the land of the black faces? How did he go undetected for 40 years? How did Joseph's brothers not recognize him in the land of the black faces if he was a white man? Can you tell me that? Noah called his son Ham. In the Hebrew, Ham. Chet mem sofit, and it means hot, hot. Chemet and cham are the same words in the Hebrew, which represented the coloring of the people of Mitzrayim, Egypt. What happens if something stays hot for a long time? It burns and turns black, right? So you start to look at the scriptures and you start to see that we serve an Elohim that delivers people from slavery, and then I get sick and tired of what's been going on in the run-up to these elections. And coming from England, where I see things so different in this country because I come from outside and come into it, and I see all the fermentation, and it really troubles me. But the scripture and historical truth is what will set us free. But democracy is designed to enslave you. It was invented by the Greeks, and we understand from the scriptures who was sold to the Greeks. Joel speaks about that. In Exodus chapter 2, Shemot chapter 2 verse 19, Moshe was described as a Mitzri, which means a blackface, from the land of the blacks. They didn't say that he was a Mitzri Laban, a Mitzri Laban. What was Laban? Remember Laban? He was an albino. He was white, an albino. And you can see that in Africa today. There are albinos. But he would have been described, if he was white, as a Mitzri Laban. But he wasn't. Which would have meant he was an albino African. But he wasn't. Just like Yaakov's uncle was an albino. You see, the ancient Egyptians were a Kemetic people. They were black. In 1965, the former president of Egypt, Gamal Abdel Nasser, said he couldn't respect the present Jews in Israel because they left Israel black and they came back white. Because they were Caucasians when they returned, a Turkic Mongol Asians from the Caucasus Mountains, the Russian steppes. Song of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 5. I am black but comely, O ye daughters of Jerusalem, as the tents of Kedar, as the curtains of Solomon. I am black. The Hebrew word there is shachar ha-anya. It literally translates to, I am dark-skinned. Strong's number, and I don't use Strong's numbers very often, but there's going to be pushback. Strong's number 7838, shachar, from Strong's number 7835, dusky. So the word shachar means dusky. And if you look in the concise Oxford English Dictionary in the 10th edition, dusky means darkish in color, euphemistic of a person black and dark-skinned. And in the Old English Dictionary, it says tending to blackness. Song of Solomon's 5 verse 11. His head is as the most pure gold, meaning it's royal, it's regal, he's kingly, he's wearing a crown. His locks are curly and as black as raven. Wow. King Solomon, Melech Shlomo, was black. And only blacks have locks, not Caucasians, no matter what Rapunzel or what was the other one, Goldilocks would say, right? Look at Bathsheba in the Hebrew. Bet Tav Shin Bet Ain, daughter of Sheba. She was the black daughter of Sheba, whose line goes back to Sheba, who was the son of Cush. Cush, who produced the Nilotic.
Do a belly flop.
She got hold of the riddle, did she not? Deceitfully. And Delilah made Shimshon Samson sleep upon her knees. And she called for a man, and she caused him to shave off the 7 locks off his head, and she began to afflict him, and his strength went from him. You see, Samson was the first Rasta. He was a Negro lion fighter, similar to the African Maasai tribe, Judges 14:5 and 16:19. You see, Samson tore a lion apart as he would a young goat. And as a Nazarite, he wore 7 dreadlocks. He was mahogany in body color, just like Malcolm X, and his visage was blacker than coal. He was a Negro, Lamentations 4, 7, and 8. And this is really hard for people to see in Scripture, because predominantly it has been the Caucasians that have been in charge of the Scriptures, right? For millennia. Lamentations 5:10, our skin was black like an oven. Job 30 verse 30, my skin is black upon me and my bones are burned with heat. Deuteronomy 28, Deuteronomy 28 verse 68, and Yahweh shall bring you into Mitzrayim, Egypt again with ships. And the way of which I said to you, you shall see it no more again. And there you shall be sold to your enemies for slaves and female slaves, and no man shall buy you.
Have they been able to buy you or render your recompense or purchase you from your destruction? You have not been able to be saved except by your Creator. Now, some people get it confused and they say, sold in ships. See, there was ships leaving Africa. It didn't say that. It said ships. And you were, and our people were, put on ships from here. Going where? Back to bondage. One Egypt here, the other Egypt there. One Egypt here, Atlantis, the other Egypt there. On that continent. You've been taught a certain way, and you have to see it with new eyes. And he's going to give you some drop right about now.
And that is what happened to the regal class of the house of Judah.
The regal.
And I want to give you a brief history. I won't go into it too much, but I can't just make that statement because there'll be people that will push back. But I want to give you a brief history on slavery. I was just amazed, I got to tell you. I mean, when you come to America and you talk to people about slavery, you can talk to black people about slavery, white people about slavery, and they'll give you all this history on slavery, and it only goes back to the 16th and the 17th century. And you're like, don't they teach you the history of slavery? Why? Ask the bloody question. Why are they only teaching you the history of slavery as far back as the 16th and the 17th century?
Bang.
Why are they only going that far back? Because they don't want you to go farther back than that. Because then you'll actually find out the truth. But from the 16th and 17th century, we'll teach you about slavery. You've got to go further back. And you've got to understand and question, why do they do this throughout the whole of America, in all the public schools? Why do they only go back as far as the 16th and the 17th century?
How far should we go back? To 1053? The so-called year one? Yeah, the more you go back, the more you unravel the Dark Ages, this medieval so-called empire of the Israelites that connects you to Asia. That connects you to the kingdoms of the Byzantine and Turkey and the Picts, which is why Columbus brought a Hebrew interpreter to find the copper color races, which is why Columbus brought a Hebrew interpreter to find you, the so-called Negro.
To talk about slavery. We've got to go further back than that.
Let's go.
Because Islam designed infernal slavery.
Bam.
And then the Ashkenazi Khazars those who say they are Jews and are not are the ones that marketed it.
Bang.
And the regal Negro nomads exiled from the kingdom of Judah were the main recipients of it at
the Negro regal nomads. Have you ever heard that referring to you over here, so-called African American? The regal Negro nomads?
From the 16th and 17th century would teach you about slavery. You've got to go further back. And you've got to understand and question, why did they do this throughout the whole of America, in all the public schools? Why do they only go back as far as the 16th and the 17th century to talk about slavery? We've got to go further back than that. Because Islam designed infernal slavery. And then the Ashkenazi Khazars, those who say they are Jews and are not, are the ones that marketed it. And the regal Negro nomads, exiled from the kingdom of Judah, were the main recipients of it at the hands of the indigenous black Africans. Because you've got to understand, the regal class of the house of Judah came down from Israel, and they came into the land of the black Africans. And the black Africans resented the regal class of the house of Judah in their land, because they had laws, they had customs, they had civility, and they were a regal class of Negro that came down into Africa. And later on, it was the Ashkenazi, the Islamic slave traders as well, that then worked together with the indigenous black Africans to enslave the regal house of Judah.
Or Yudah, or Hawaudah. And it didn't just happen there. He's just going to follow the way with the Babylon of Timbuktu, Jews rolling into Africa 70 AD. We're going 1053, 1054 AD. And we're saying that it happened here with this so-called Islam. It happened here with the hijack. It happened here with the treaties. It happened here. The same concept, but it happened here. Copper color races found here.
This is what we've got to understand, but you've got to go back before the 16th century to understand the roots of it. So we're going to see, as we dig into this, where this slavery came from, because it was really a system that was very, very well crafted. There was Islamic masters, and there were white Ashkenazi Khazar ship owners. There were the buyers and the sellers. And they're not going to fill you in on all of this, but really you've got a 4-tier system. Number one, you have the Negro nomads that were exiled from the kingdom of Judah.
Negro.
Number two, you had indigenous black African hunters that resented the regal Negro nomads that had come into their territory with their own customs, with their own laws that were different and would not assimilate into their tribal culture. They were their own tribe. They were the regal house of Judah. Number three, you had Islamic trappers that worked with the indigenous black Africans to trap the regal Negro house of Judah.
Moab, Psalms 83, Ishmaelites, Amalekites, Ammon.
And then you had them sell them to the Ashkenazi ship merchants, along with many Portuguese and British Ashkenazi. You see, it's just like Al-Qaeda today. Or is it ISIS? Or is it ISIL? Or is it IS? I mean, right? Let's just change the name as much as possible to throw you all off so you really don't know what's going on. Let's keep switching the identity to hide the people. Why don't we just keep renaming you? Are you Negro? Oh, no, you're not Negro. No, you're colored. No. You're not colored. You're African American.
No, now you're American Indian.
And this is what they name you. The slavers name you this. Because I know a white guy who grew up in South Africa. And he now lives in America. He is an African American. And more African American than most. Do you see how African American is a misnomer? It's a misnomer. Don't check that box. It's a title given to blacks by democratic slavers. Okay? Let's be real. They want you to check the box just like they want the Anglo-Saxon to check the Caucasian box.
Check the box.
It's not true. So, again, we've got the 4-tier system. Number 1, we have the Regal Negro nomadic class.
Negro.
That are exiled from the kingdom of Judah.
Israel.
They are their own royal tribe in Africa.
Hey.
Then, number 2, we have the
Ame'rican.
native black African trackers. They're going to track them down. And number 3, we have the Islamic trappers, because between 650 of the Common Era and 1900 of the Common Era, 10 to 20 million people were enslaved by the Arab slave traders. Over 20 million enslaved Africans were delivered through the Trans-Sahara route to the Islamic world. Can you get your head around that? That's not even touching the Americas. Over 80 million more blacks died at the hands of Islam en route. And number
En route where and from where? Was it 80 million that died by the hand of Moor, Civil War, treaties for specks of land to go there, to send us there, to captivity there? Get the picture?
Or we have Ashkenazi, Khazar, Jewish ship merchants. And of course the Portuguese and the British Ashkenazi were the main buyers. Islam and the Ashkenazi, those that say that they are Jews and are not, were the main sellers. Does that make sense? You've got to dig into this further. We have the 2 tiers right there. We have the Islamic trappers, and then we have the Ashkenazi ship merchants. You see, the Romans, they were globalist slavers. They were globalists. Then and now. They just migrated to Gaul, Ashkenazi, the sellers, and Britain, the British, of course, the buyers. German Jewry and British Jewry, where have they gone to? Well, they've descended upon Wall Street, upon Hollywood and Washington, D.C., as we see it right now, just to fuel this cataclysmic final war of globalism, which is none other than renaming colonialism.
Bang.
And this is the world that you and I live in. And I'm so sick and tired of these talking heads when it comes to the election time, trying to enslave everybody and cause racial division to try and get the votes. When ultimately, if Israel would just wake up to who's enslaving us, regardless of our skin color, he says what? I am Yahweh your Elohim that delivered you from slavery. We all need to get out from underneath this slavery system, and we need to come together as Joseph's multicolored Melchizedek cloak. But we've got to help identify who are our Jewish brothers and where are our Jewish brothers as the whole house of Israel comes together. Because Islam and the Slavic regions, I mean, where do we get these names? Yugoslavia, of course, Czechoslovakia, Slovakia. These were all regions of bestial slavery that eventually arrived on the African continent. These were areas where Islam invented infernal slavery up in those Slavic regions that then eventually arrived on the African continent, and the black regal Negroes of Judah were the recipients of it.
Wow.
But not only black Judah, but Europeans were even kidnapped by the Arabs and the Ashkenazi trade.
Oh, we know the Moors enslaved these so-called Europeans, and that they were mainly the ones getting off these boats as slaves that the Moors had over here, sending us back, dropping them off. You know, they're trying to mix themselves in, multicultural, all this and all that. Man, you talking about a tribe that has a daddy, fathers, mothers. These are real people. This is not a myth that you can just become later on. Listen up.
During the war or peace periods in the medieval times. So, just to recap before we go further, because I don't want you to be confused, because it's of utmost importance. The real Shemites, the Fehalim, the rural farmers found in the land of Israel at the end of the 19th century and the beginning of the 20th century. What we call today the Palestinian Christians, Palestinians and other anti-Zionist, non-Ashkenazi, Torah-keeping Jews worldwide, just like the Yemenite Jews. And two, the real Shemites, the royal, regal, Negro nomads, exiled from the kingdom of Judah, African Shemites who were taken away.
Whoa, not African Shemites, the ones they found here.
In slave ships, Deuteronomy 28, verse 68, by the synagogue of Satan, the Caucasian, white Ashkenazi Jews in the 17th and 18th century. Because Ashkenazi slaving, the history of it is outrageous. Let me read something to you. This is from the Ashkenazi Jew. He's a scholar, Jonathan Shoresh, and he says this. Jewish merchants routinely possessed enormous numbers of slaves temporarily before selling them off. If a slave auction fell on a Jewish holiday, it was postponed due to a lack of buyers and sellers. The Jews of Suriname gave their slave plantations because they don't want you to know who you really are and what tribe you're from, that you're not from Muhammad's tribe. Never were. Never were. You are a regal Negro class from the royal house of Judah. It's outrageous to me. Islam is not the black man's religion.
Whoa.
It's for those of the Banu Hasham clan of the Quraysh tribe. That's who it's for. It's not from the tribe of Judah. Never was, never will be.
Whoa.
It was never the religion of the Negro nomads in Africa, because they were exiled from the kingdom of Judah.
Straight up. And now you have Udall. Now we have land in Udall. Now we are awakening to our orientation.